Welcome to the Marcus Hale Motivation Podcast. This is your daily fuel for the mind, the place where we talk about discipline, focus, and the mindset that turns struggle into strength. I'm Marcus Hale, and every day I'll be here with you, reminding you that you already have what it takes to win. So let's lock in and let's get started. When we talk about growth, when we talk about success, when we talk about pushing past the limits that hold most people back, it always comes down to something simple. It's not about talent alone. It's not about luck. It's about how much you're willing to show up for yourself when it's not convenient, when it's not easy, when nobody else is clapping for you. Success doesn't start when you achieve a goal. Success starts when you make a decision that from this day forward, you are no longer going to accept mediocrity from yourself. Think about that for a second. Every breakthrough you've ever had in your life started with a choice. Maybe it was the choice to finally start exercising after months or years of putting it off. Maybe it was the choice to take that exam seriously and study like your future depended on it. Maybe it was the choice to walk away from a circle of friends that weren't aligned with where you wanted to go. Every single turning point comes down to that moment where you say, "No more excuses, I'm in." But here's the hard truth. Most people never get to that point. Most people live their entire lives in the middle zone. Not miserable enough to change, not inspired enough to move forward. And that's where discipline becomes the dividing line. Because discipline says, I don't care how I feel. I don't care what happened yesterday. I don't care how tired I am. I have a standard, and I will live up to it. Discipline is uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. The word itself comes from the same root as disciple, a student, someone who follows and learns. So when you discipline yourself, you are teaching yourself. You're shaping yourself into the person you said you wanted to become. And here's what's wild. You can't fake it. Your life right now is already a reflection of the standards you've accepted. If you have low energy, maybe your diet and sleep standards are low. If your finances are out of control, maybe your spending discipline is low. If your relationships feel empty, maybe your communication and effort standards are low. Discipline is always showing up. The question is whether it's building you or breaking you. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone who wants to get in shape. They're motivated at the start. They buy the shoes, they get the gym membership, they tell their friends. The first week, they go hard. Then the soreness hits, the schedule gets busy, and the motivation fades. You've seen it 100 times. Maybe you've lived it yourself. What separates the person who quits from the person who transforms is not motivation. It's discipline. Discipline is the one who says, I don't care how I feel. I don't care what's on Netflix. I don't care that my legs are sore. I'm showing up. That decision, made over and over, is what builds the body, the business, the career, the character. Now let's flip it to a bigger scale. Every successful person you admire, whether it's an athlete, an entrepreneur, a leader, an artist, every one of them mastered discipline before the world saw their talent. Kobe Bryant didn't become the Black Mamba because he wanted it. He became it because he woke up at 4 a.m. for years when nobody was watching. Steve Jobs didn't create Apple because of a flash of inspiration. He obsessed over details, held himself and his team to a brutal standard, and refused to let good enough slide. Discipline turns vision into reality. So I want to ask you today, where in your life are you waiting for motivation instead of practicing discipline? Where are you telling yourself the story that you'll start when you feel ready, when the timing is better, when you're less stressed, when things settle down? That's the lie. That's the trap. Life will never settle down long enough for you to start. The only way forward is to decide that today is the day you show up regardless of how you feel. And listen, I know it's not easy. I'm not here to give you empty hype. Discipline will test you. It will ask you to delay gratification when everything in you wants comfort right now. It will ask you to say no to people who don't respect your goals. It will ask you to keep promises to yourself when breaking them would be easier. That's the cost. But the reward is freedom. Because when you master discipline, you are no longer controlled by moods, by circumstances, by other people's opinions. You're in control. I want to share something powerful with you. Neuroscience tells us that every time you make a disciplined choice, you are literally rewiring your brain. You are building new neural pathways, strengthening the part of your brain that handles self-control and decision-making. That means every small win, every time you wake up when you said you would, every time you resist that unhealthy food, every time you put in the work when you didn't feel like it, you are stacking bricks. And those bricks become the foundation of the life you want. So don't underestimate the small disciplines. The little things matter. People think success is built on huge leaps, but it's actually built on small, consistent steps. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If you can't keep your room organized, how will you run a business? If you can't stay consistent with reading 10 pages a day, how will you stay consistent with chasing big goals? Discipline compounds. The small daily wins build momentum, and momentum builds unstoppable confidence. Now here's something that might surprise you. Discipline actually makes life easier. People think discipline is restriction, but it's actually liberation. When you live without discipline, you're constantly battling regret, guilt, chaos, and wasted time. When you live with discipline, you create structure, order, and clarity. Instead of constantly debating whether or not you should do the thing, you already know. Your standard decides for you. That mental freedom is priceless. Let's make this practical. I want you to pick one area of your life right now where you know you've been slacking. Maybe it's fitness, maybe it's your studies, maybe it's your finances, maybe it's your consistency in showing up for your goals. Whatever it is, I want you to commit for the next 30 days to applying discipline there. Don't overcomplicate it, don't wait for motivation. Decide what your standard is, write it down, and execute daily. For example, I will work out 30 minutes every day, or I will save $20 from every paycheck, or I will read 10 pages every night. It doesn't have to be flashy, it has to be consistent. And here's the key. Keep the promise to yourself. That's where confidence comes from. Not from hype, not from other people's validation, but from proving to yourself that your word means something. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build self-respect. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you chip away at it. And that's why most people struggle with confidence, because deep down, they don't trust themselves to follow through. Discipline fixes that. You want to change your life? Start by stacking small wins. Start by keeping promises to yourself. Start by mastering discipline in the dark when nobody's watching, because that's where greatness is born. So as you step into today, remember this. Motivation may get you started, but discipline is what will carry you across the finish line. Decide your standard, live by it, and let the world see what happens when someone refuses to quit. Thanks for spending these minutes with me today on the Marcus Hale Motivation Podcast. If today's message connected with you, make sure you subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and keep pushing forward. I'll be back tomorrow with another boost for your day. Until then, stay sharp, stay hungry, and keep moving.